Also on his Nocturne 0-2. So he agrees with your facts, Very good facts overall. For G2, obviously sitting at 2-2 so far in the standings. For Shifters, we talked about it, have only picked up one game win, not even a series win so far this split, with a victory against Vitality. Apparently Rooster is 5-4 on Akali, but 8 of those games were as a mid laner. So I was looking at his top lane Akali games, but of course he did used to play mid lane as well. So that's my mistake. I'm sorry, guys. It's only the second time we've seen Rooster on Akali top. The last time was in 2022. Do you know which team he was playing for, Eddie?
Tell me.
HLE Challengers. And you know who his opponent was?
Tell me.
Obviously you weren't listening because I just said it, Eddie. Dun dun.
I thought we were revising history. But anyway, this is the whole point of Nocturne. Fight early. You get bonus AD for the... Oh, did he actually?
He did, he got it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So this is great for SkewMond, and this is exactly why you pick Nocturne into the Vi matchup specifically. The bonus AD you get from Q... I haven't played Nocturne in ages, but it used to be 20 at level 1. I can double check, see if it's still 20 at level 1. It's 15 now. I didn't know that they nerfed it, but I wasn't sure if they nerfed it at later or early levels. But 15 AD at level 1 is the equivalent of a longsword and a half. Isn't longsword 10 AD?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so much raw damage, right? On top of the fact that the passive really helps you as well, getting that extra bit of healing. And so Vi, who just kind of, I mean, what does she really do at level 1?
Hey, she punches and does something while punching. I can't remember what the full quote is. Punch first, ask questions while punching.
There you go. Great quote. Yeah, so all of the top side will be stolen. The question then is, does Boukada now move into the bot side jungle? Does SkewMond immediately path back towards bot, or is he looking to split map? Is he actually just going to go for a gank?
I wouldn't mind this. Rooster, in terms of laning, already ahead of BrokenBlade, dashes away with a Shock Conflict, gets hit by the wallop, goes back in, Ignite down, but BrokenBlade flashes out of range, and with the Fear Tether going off, SkewMond should be able to get a pretty easy kill on Rooster.
Okay, so first blood goes to SkewMond. Great start for the Nocturne. Like, you couldn't really ask for much more. Bucada wisely looking to cross map and steal away those camps that were stolen from him. But Rooster, I mean, I feel like he should have been a little bit more prepared. You know that the enemy jungle is sitting in your top side. You've been isolated from any jungle support. You're not running TP as well. The Ignite does give you a little bit more kill pressure. Well, it gives you a lot more kill pressure, really. But without that TP, you're now going to be heavily hurt. And if we could just quickly look at that top lane observers, we can see that the wave has been frozen.
Yeah, I think this is why Rooster was trying to shove out the way he was, right?
Right?
Like, if you know you're playing into a range into melee matchup, or melee into range matchup from Rooster's perspective, getting the wave under tower before you get ganked, which is the expectation, is vital, right? And so now Rooster, again, has to be a little bit further up in the lane that he wants to be. SkewMond coming across will realize his Krugs are still here. Only 2 camps stolen away by Boukada.
Oh, he skipped his blue buff, actually, just so he could get back to the bot side of the map. All right, fair enough, SkewMond. Yeah, but so far, fantastic early game for him. BrokenBlade has got the wave in a very good spot top. Rooster will still gain kill pressure once level 6 and when he's playing into a BrokenBlade with Mininar. The early gank isn't going to affect Rooster massively. The biggest thing is going to be the XP. You can already see that small pink bar under both of their names. You can see that BrokenBlade is about a half level over Rooster, which is going to be the biggest thing that delays Rooster's ability to really fight him, because obviously BrokenBlade 6 is going to come through earlier, and that's then going to give him a much bigger advantage in the top lane 1v1.
And it does make sense to put Rooster behind, because he has so consistently been... Oh, good stun with the flash rush. Boukada misses the Vault Breaker flash! Okay, that's about all you're going to be able to do in the mid lane. But yeah, for Rooster, although, you know, his KDA is low and Shifters have been losing, actually one of the best laning top laners we have in the league.
Absolutely.
He's a high goal difference at 14, high CSD at 14 as well. Nuke there making the flash come out. And BrokenBlade on the other side has been struggling. Right, 10th in gold difference, 10th in CSD, 10th in damage percent, which is partly, of course, due to the champions that he's been picking. But we talked about it a little bit in draft. It hasn't so far been BrokenBlade's spring.
No, it certainly hasn't. Like, there's always context behind every stat, of course, but they do reinforce this idea and this sentiment that BrokenBlade has been struggling. Now, Hans could be struggling.
Focus Resolve going down. It's just going to get the root. Doesn't have the mana for anything, and without barrier, because he's running TP, just gets taken down in the 2v1.
Okay, so I am surprised. I guess Hans really didn't want to flash away from that. Maybe he underestimated the damage coming through from Paduck. The TP will bring him back into the lane, but the wave is in a fantastic spot for Paduck. 1-to-1 in kills as the bot lane of Shifters fight back.
Yeah, this bot lane and the Ezreal Karma combination worked out for them against Vitality here, coming up well so far in the early game, but SkewMond's still the person that we have to be looking at in terms of how G2 are going to accelerate their advantage. He's already 3/4 of the way, half the way to level 6. And when that Nocturne gets his paranoia, things become a lot scarier for you. Paduck has button his flash, obviously has the arcane shift, but if he uses that aggressively to try and put more pressure down on Hansama and Labrov, he is at risk of a flying Nocturne.
We didn't talk about it earlier, but Exhaust coming through from Paduck as well to help with the threat of the Nocturne diving in. Cool little last hit there from BrokenBlade from over the wall. The no-scope 360. Level 6
So
now.
First, it wasn't a 360.
No
he didn't do a spin, and he
hang
was
on a minute, look
looking
at
at it.
SkewMond ulting.
Going in with the paranoia. The fear going to come out as well. Flash out from Nuke as he looks to get away. Put into the egg now. Boukada's going to leave him. Those eggs are pretty rotten as G2 will find a kill. Caps takes it. Meanwhile, Labrov looking for Trymbi and Paduck down towards this bottom side. Exhaust down onto Hansama. Essence Flux into the auto attacks. Arcane Shift away. Bubble doesn't quite connect. Paduck shielded up by the Inspire out of Trymbi, but SkewMond's on his way across. No flash for him. No flash for Paduck either. Duskbringer. Oh, just short of clipping onto the Ezreal, but now Trymbi needs to be a bit cautious because he's feared underneath his tower. Does still have the flash, no heal to help him out here. The Mandrid focus resolve as Labrov tanks a tower shot, flashes away very late, and underneath the tower, SkewMond just dies. Boukada's on his way across. No flash, no bolt breaker. Labrov looking for the mood speed from the ebb and flow. We'll get it with a Tidecaller's Blessing too. Bolt breaker out again as they look for Labrov under the tower. They'll take him. Boukada trades his life for it though, as Hansama picks up a freebie. Trymbi's still on the chase. The control ward down means that Hansama will know he can't back here. Can't park there, mate. Instead, parks a little bit further away.
Now, it is my job to help the viewer understand what is happening. The problem is that when I don't understand, my job becomes somewhat harder. Ultimate will be thrown out from Paduck to see if he can snipe, but as you quite rightly identified. So let's hope that the replay can help me understand. The idea here is to try and get that pick onto Paduck. He's very low. So now they go, okay, we can dive this, but you can't because you don't have a minion. So Hansama immediately has to get away, then the tower is stacking up, and then SkewMond, you've got no flash left. So a very ambitious dive, which is then responded with Shifters saying, you know what, we can dive this. And unfortunately, we have to go back to live, because I know that some shenanigans are happening.
Melmore behind here as 4 members of G2 begin to collapse on Paduck. Kill Arcane Shift out of the fear, nicely done, but he's delaying the inevitable you have to feel. Paranoia out from SkewMond just to make sure they secure the kill. G2 get their 4th, SkewMond gets his 2nd, and with it a 700 gold lead. Trymbi looking to see if Caps oversteps. Yeah. Inner Flame coming out. Flash Frost as well for the stun. There's the wall. Does Caps have a way to sneak by it? The answer is a resounding no, as Caps falls to the Glacial Storm and Nuke gets on the board. SkewMond the next target. It feels like after one person dies, everyone else just follows like lemmings off the cliff. Boukada flashed forward for an attack. What is going on, Benny? Trymbi will walk out through the tower range to get himself to safety, and Shifters will back away, but...
Oh, I thought another fighter had entered the arena as Hansama makes his way into mid lane. He's going to miss out on the action as we find ourselves 4-4 in kills. 8.5 minutes in, we've got a kill per minute. This is not what I was expecting to happen in this game, but this is the reality that we're living in it, so we are going to go with it. Both teams are bloodthirsty. They're eager to punish the opposition at every moment that they can find. Paduck, are you the next target?
He is the next target, Betty. It's hunting season for Hansama as the Duck was blind to the threat in the Tribush. Hansama takes half his health, and Trymbi's on his way down here. Trymbi been involved in every kill of his team so far, and because of that has an Echoes of Helia already completed, which will help out with surviving the lane.
I don't think we're laning anymore, bro. I feel like if we kind of had a heat map of where the kills were happening, you just see a big red blob everywhere.
The collective lane of League of Legends, man.
Definitely a nice item spike for sure. Top lane, I think BrokenBlade isn't too stressed about this counter pick coming through from Rooster, given that early gank that came through. The threat of the Ignite is still there, but meanwhile on the rest of the map, where does the advantage really lie? I feel like both mid lane mages are scaling quite comfortably, both looking to stack up as much mana as possible. Looks like Nuke, thanks to that kill, will reach the Rod of Ages a little bit earlier, so he can start stacking that up soon. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, both AD carries find themselves even on kills. The Trinity Force slightly closer to completion from Paduck, but everyone finds themselves hovering around mid lane.
Nuke looking for Caps again. Boukada waiting in the wings as Labrov is here. The jungle mid support mini ARAM, I guess, is happening because there are grubs to be found. And so Trymbi actually going to go across, get this Scryer's Bloom, get a little bit of vision.
Dragon hasn't been taken yet. Oh, BrokenBlade
Shuriken, Twilight Shroud. Perfect execution coming out alongside the Ignite. BrokenBlade's going to go Mega after that Ignite ticks down, so it'll still be topped up. Grubs have been started by SkewMond. As you say, no real Dragon prio so far. There's a small window for G2 to do it, but instead they went for a blue buff steal. Boukada, looking towards this top side, has the cease and desist. BrokenBlade throws a house into the minion wave, and after that just backs away, swiping at a helicopter as he does so.
BrokenBlade going for that early magic resistance, really helping him out in terms of the matchup and Rooster's kill threat. You can see that with the all-in combo. If Rooster had been able to get another Q off, maybe there's a world where he actually had execution threat Trymbi.
Hans with a good trade onto Trymbi here. Focuses off, has to Valkyrie away from it, realizes, well, I've been rooted like this once before in the lane, perhaps don't want to do that a second time. SkewMond once again looking for that steal, has the Hex Plate completed, but a Sundered Sky on Boukada's side does make it a little bit harder to trade effectively as Trymbi backs away right in front of their faces, almost gets clipped by a cannon, or a missile from the cannon barrage. It's weird that we're not seeing a Drake take.
Yeah, it's usually because you play around Drake using your bot prio, but bot lane has been killing each other permanently, and a lot of ganks from both junglers have been invested into bot lane, and the junglers often die when that happens, which means that the dragon then isn't converted as a result. But now, there should be a slightly higher priority objective. As I say that, bot laners are recalling, so perhaps slightly more delayed.
Yep, recall coming out from SkewMond as well, so unlikely to see that Drake take immediately as Rooster is slammed against the wall by BrokenBlade. It's an interesting difference in terms of treat completion from SkewMond. He's been feeding his pet, the jungle pet, a little bit more rapidly, down to 2 stacks left on that jungle item, whereas Boukada has 6 on his. Boukada doesn't have any camps to take either, whereas SkewMond still has his wolves, and if he has that extra treat, can actually upgrade his smite quite a lot earlier than Boukada. We talk a little bit about the early jungle invades and what it does for the team. It doesn't just split the map, also allows you to really accelerate towards that upgraded smite.
Absolutely. I also love keeping my eyes on the Rod of Ages completions just because there is that small window where you get that spike, but I'll have to shut up as the jungler is looking for a gank on a BrokenBlade.
Got it in, cease and desist there for the follow-up. Perfect execution coming out from Rooster. BB goes Mega. The wallop goes wide though, and without that CC, there's no escape for the Gnar. BrokenBlade dies, and while it's happening, G2 will take the first dragon of the game.
Yeah, nice gank from Shifters, and then a nice cross map coming through from G2. Overall, a fairly even trade, but funneling a little bit more gold into Rooster is very much what Shifters would like to do. Getting more priority and getting control over those side lanes is going to be important for them as the game continues, and also removing some of the front line threat from G2, I think is a good idea. So, fairly even trade overall.
Yeah, about 30 seconds later than the slowest Drake we'd had this split as well.
Wow.
The previous record was 12 minutes, 11 seconds. That was about, I don't know, 12:40, 12:45 or so. I didn't keep an exact timer on when it went down because I was looking at the stat on the screen at the time, and then I looked back down and it's like, well, the Drake's already taken, we're popping up that little text bar that tells you what it does. It reminds us what it does as well, which is kind of nice sometimes, because you're just like, cloud does move speed some things,
no, you're completely right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other? No? Good.
You want other things?
No, I just thought you kind of had a thing going.
Oh, I was looking up Karma's ability names.
Oh.
Because Focus, everyone says Mantrid in a Flame, right? No one says Soul Flare. And I feel
That's because I think a lot of people will be confused.
I think so too. I also think a lot of people are confused when I say Mantrid in a Flame. Gonna be honest, I think most players interact with League of Legends champions as QWER.
Probably.
Or passive.
So you're saying that I was right this whole time?
Oh no, I think it sounds a lot better if you say the name.
That's true.
I just think it, people kind of...
You don't think it's confusing in the middle of a team fight of 8 champions for me to shout, hits them with the Q?
I mean, I do. I do, and that's why I don't do it, Betty, but you should. Gunblade completed for Rooster, as he is looking to try and spike through BrokenBlade's health bar. And really, you're going to play around when he's just got into that mini Gnar. That's when you have your largest window to take him down. He's very squishy in that small form.
You know, the one thing I think we take for granted is so we've cast League for like most of its life, right?
That's true, yeah.
So just kind of by instinct, I know what the QWER is of most champions.
Sure.
But there are people that will have only just started playing League within the last few years. And so when I say Nocturne's Q does this, there are people playing League right now that are younger than Anivia.
That's so true, man.
And it's one of those things I completely take for granted that, like, all right, there's probably people at home that have no idea what I mean when I say yeah.
Sometimes I think there's people in the game that have no idea what it's doing as well. You watch that like 1 minute to 8 minute play.
Yeah. It's always, every day's different here at the LEC, you know what I mean?
So true.
Never know what you're going to get. Well, I'd love to tell you at home what the game plan is, but they're kind of waiting for these neutral objectives. Shifters have very much a scaling type of draft. G2 are kind of waiting for those spikes, but as I say that, I can see some of those spikes have already now been hit with the Trinity Force now complete. BrokenBlade, his Trinity Force is going to be delayed in contrast to the Gunblade of Rooster, so he has to be a little bit more careful in the side lane. But ultimately, everyone's reached those one-item spikes. The Rift Herald may become that big point of contention. We see the bot lane is now moving up towards it. Caps doesn't have teleport, but he's matching that of Nuke, who doesn't have the teleport either. So looking to be a 4v4 brawl if there is going to be an objective start. But I think with the strength of Akali right now, well, the Trinity Force has now been finished with BrokenBlade, so maybe they feel a little bit more confident on the side of G2 to actually fight them should the Herald be started off. Yeah,
we'll have to see. Imperial Mandate on Labrov, matched by Trymbi's Echoes of Helia, means they're relatively equal in terms of damage or shielding output as well. So it is going to be an interesting one to see if we see that fight around the Rift Herald, because you talk about, like, oh, they've hit their spikes, they can look for a fight, but it's like, how do you actually find the fight is often difficult, and neutral objectives is an easy way to do that. SkewMond playing towards the top side is spotted out on the control ward. Boukada, man, this guy has made he's got a camp, he's put the pegs in, the tent is set up, he's got his sleeping bag ready. He has been up here quite a lot of the time, and it doesn't surprise me, because getting Rooster ahead on the Akali makes a lot of sense. Vault Breaker onto BrokenBlade just as he goes mini, Betty. Cease and desist there for the follow-up, and the jump isn't going to get him out of Ignite as he ticks down. Rift Herald is now the new target, and Shifters have a man advantage, although they have used 2 big ultimates to find that kill.
Well, they'll be happy getting the Herald off the back of it as well, as Shifters find that pick and top, convert that top pressure down towards the Herald. G2 know that they don't have the numbers advantage to already contest, especially with Caps. And Nuke now, his ability to TP up. Easy objective secured, and Rooster getting to become a real problem on the side lane. And I don't really think that this is necessarily BrokenBlade's fault per se, but I mean, there's a world where perhaps he could have been a little bit more considerate, seeing as that really feels like the only lane that Shifters have been looking for ganks for in this game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's always one of those, like, play safe and you're dying under tower. He hasn't died under tower, he's died in the middle of the lane, but he also wants to get prio in the top lane to allow his jungler to do the Rift Herald, allow him to move down without losing camps, right? So I agree with you, but also there's always that balance that has to be struck as Caps looks through a Realm Warp behind Nuke, who flashes away. Shroud of Darkness came out from SkewMond, but he's on the wrong side of the wall. Nuke's walls have actually been really solid this game as Boukada comes in to help secure the kill. Caps looking for the damage. Tidal Wave out from Labrov. This feels greedy. BrokenBlade's down here as well. As perhaps they were thinking they could catch out Nuke in time with an Aqua Prism into some spell flux, but no flux given by Shifters. Didn't give them the opportunity to find the kill. They'll still take the tower though as G2 crack open the first turret of the game.
So BrokenBlade now hesitant to try and match in the top side given the strength of Rooster in the side lane. So instead they overcommit numbers on the bot side. SkewMond ends up getting caught out. I can see his flash is available now. I wonder if his flash wasn't available during the play. I have to believe that it was though, because thinking back, like, he hasn't really burned that flash very often, so just choosing to hold on to the objective, perhaps for the upcoming Dragon fight, which could be starting very soon, depending on whether Shifters feel confident enough. They have now just gone back to base. The reset coming out means that they've spent a bit of their gold ready to contest.
2 items on Boukada as well. Black Cleaver, Sundered Sky is a big spike for him overall. He's going to put the Rift Herald down towards the middle lane. They might just look for the turret in exchange here. Don't have a huge amount of vision. They know the Dragon's not in the pit as they have a ward in the back of the Dragon pit, but SkewMond just starting it up, and I think Shifters have said, okay, you can take the second Drake of the game, we'll give you that liberty. Instead, we'll try and take the mid lane towers. BrokenBlade once again on the wrong side of the wall. Nuke locking people in cages on this Anivia as the Rift Herald charges in, and Shifters get their second turret of the game, and with it, 1,000 gold lead, Betty.
Great patience from Shifters there, because they recognize they are very late to that objective. It's a very difficult contest, so they don't really bother. They kind of hover around, fish, get a little bit of vision, but they don't overcommit. They realize that, hey, let's just take the mid tower. It's a much easier objective for us. We've already secured the top tower. And then our next game plan becomes very simple because we just need to get mid control and start putting our resources towards getting that last bot out of tower. Once we've got that, then we can start playing for the Dragons in the future. So I think it was a wise choice. I think Shifters play patiently, and the fact that they get the flash out from BrokenBlade is an even bigger advantage for Shifters.
Nice overall for them. 1,000 gold lead at the 20-minute mark against G2. pretty solid. We have seen them in similar positions before, though. Like, they had big leads against Giant X before they lost. They were, in fact, at 20 minutes in that series, they were 5,000 gold ahead in the first game. It's not their laning phase that they have struggled with too much. It is the mid-game decision-making, as we see Trymbi getting caught out by Summer and Labrov, and Trymbi's decision to be there was not ideal.
Yeah, it was a bit of a silly mistake. Like, half your team is resetting. You have no prio really anywhere. I mean, I guess you did have the push in the top side, but you end up getting caught out, and G2 picked themselves up a kill. And this was something that we heard yesterday. Ooh, hang on a second. It looks like Boukada's looking for another gank.
The season assist is available. Rooster looking for the chase. Gunblade for the slow. They dive onto BrokenBlade once again, and BrokenBlade dies once again. Not much you can do about that, unfortunately, for BB, as he has died for the third time this game.
Yeah, and he wasn't playing disrespectful at all there. Just Rooster's at a point where it's now very easy to kill Mininar, especially when you have the CC setup from Boukada. Going with Merc Treads and the magic resistance from the Null Magic Mantle is, sorry, Negatron Cloak, my apologies, it's not enough. It's just not enough. So yes, he's the target, but he's basically relying on his teammates now to be that carry, and hopefully he can land some big ultimates for his team later on when we eventually find ourselves in the 5v5.
Yeah, it becomes utility now at this point, right? It's all about the CC and getting, as you say, those big ults off or big wallops. But for the moment, Shifters are playing well through their winning lane. 1.5 thousand gold lead for Rooster. Summer is 1,000 gold ahead on this Corki, though, because they've been given some of these plates on the towers. Also has an extra kill over Paduck. Item-wise, relatively similar. There's a Noon Quiver and a Longsword difference, but nothing too substantial. Importantly, Summer has yet to upgrade his boots, whereas Paduck did go for the Ionian Boots of Lucidity as his upgrade. So it's a little bit of gold spent there from Paduck that Summer hasn't invested in the Yeezys. Other shoe brands are available. Air Jordans. You think of any other ones, Freddy?
No.
Converse, New Balance.
You're saying a lot of words right now that I am largely unfamiliar
Hey, we had
with.
that Foot Locker sponsorship for a little bit. I thought you would have read up, you know? This was 7 years ago now.
Ran up? I would have...
Read up, Freddy.
Oh, read up. I thought that was some sort of clever pun that you attempted to make.
Oh, my puns are all not very clever, let's be honest. As G2 have decided, okay, we've had enough of BB in the side lane trying to match into Rooster. He just can't survive it right now. So we're going to put Caps over there instead. And Caps, obviously, very good wave clear and can also shut down the Akali in terms of CC when she tries to jump in, just room prison her, and then run away with the phase rush. So
I still don't think it's an easy match.
I'm not saying it's easy, but it's probably easier than BrokenBlade getting constantly killed.
Because, yeah, you hit the nail on the head with the wave clear. Mainly just Akali doesn't have the fastest wave clear, so Ryze walks up, one-shots the wave, leaves. Yeah. And that's the biggest pressure point that they can have. BrokenBlade actually setting up a bit of a freeze here in the top lane, trying to get some XP back where he can. He's very close to level 15. The Dragon spawning in a minute's time. He should be able to get that level up, but Shifters already trying to be proactive with their vision control. Looking at the entrances, trying to clean out what vision G2 have set up, along with put some pressure down. Caps, though, very aware of the positioning, and he looks to play safe. I think Shifter's approach here is good, though. They've got Anivia just trying to catch that top wave. This tower, though, the kind of long con after securing that mid tower, easily secured. That gold going to be fed into Rooster, who is now the key carry for Shifters, with Paduck and Nuke not too far behind their lane opponents. They're definitely still in very good spots themselves. BrokenBlade going to do what he can, but the tower advantage comfortably in Shifter's favor.
Akali, highest level in the game as well, at level 16, with 2 players with Rod of Ages. That is pretty impressive that he's ahead of both Caps and Nuke, who have those full 10 stacks. Will, of course, be able to get to level 20. Because he's a top laner, and apparently they just get free stuff. Yes, they have to get XP for it, but as a support, look, I'm just always tilted by the role quest, Betty. What do I get? A slot for my control wards.
Yeah, you get an extra slot.
Oh, huge.
Wow, so ungrateful.
Nuke with the wall there. BrokenBlade has the extra health shield from the TP. Tidal Wave coming out as well. We'll clip Trymbi and Nuke as Trymbi flashes away. Rooster looking for a flank down towards the bottom side tri-bush here as Shifters try and step up. Need to kind of contest this Drake, really. They've started to do it, but they give it up. It is sole point for G2, and that Dragon's going down very quickly. Caps caught out, though. Season assist there for the follow-up. Caps there, shield not going to be enough to save him. The stopwatch coming out from Rooster as he is speared up by SkewMond, but he manages to dash out with a perfect execution. SkewMond goes down. Paduck beginning to pop off on this Ezreal as G2 are forced away, and the smite comes out from Shifters. Next up a Baron, the pings are on it, Betty.
I was really worried for Shifters and how they were going to approach that fight, but after they find that pick onto Caps, they don't hesitate and fully commit into getting that kill. Rooster also buying so much time thanks to that arm guard. He's able to stall things out, waste G2's time, and put them in an awkward position, allowing for Paduck to just free hit in the river. Then we really got to see the value of this Anivia, the zone control that she provides with both the ultimate and the wall. She's going to have to do the same thing here to stop G2 from approaching.
Hans trying to step up with 3 items again. A Glacial Storm into the wall. Valkyrie has to be used by Hans Summer, and he backs away after it. Labrov still looking for something here. There's a Realm Warp available for Caps, but they're not going to be able to get a range in time. Shifters will get the Baron. 25 minutes in, a 3k gold lead, and the Baron buff for the next 3 minutes.
So remember that G2's very cautious of Rooster on the flank, but once G2 gets targeted, things kind of go into disarray. They immediately turn their attention onto the Akali, but a shield comes through. He goes into the arm guard. He comes very, very low, but they're not quite able to find that kill. Now the ulti from Anivia is thrown down, zoning the rest of G2 away. Nocturne ends up falling in the fight, and G2 can't really follow up once that initial pick has happened. So well played to Shifters. They played it patiently, they found their targets, and they execute well, securing themselves not only their first dragon of the game, but the Baron to boot.
Shifters now in a commanding position in the game. 2 minutes left on this Baron buff. That's about 4 waves of pushing. A single cannon minion wave here in the mid lane with no real backup means that Shifters won't be able to take too much off this tier 2 for now. No one's answering BB pushing out bot side, so for all intents and purposes, it's a 2-wave push. They'll take out some of the jungle camps. There's some wolves and a Gromp to be stolen away, but really they're waiting to try and sync up top and mid. You can see Nuke pushing in that top side. It's a little later than mid lane. Rooster's going to stay around mid to try and buff up the wave with the Baron buff to make it a little bit harder for Caps to clear out, but Shifters have put all of their attentions towards this top lane tier 2. Hans Summer on the wrong side of the wall once again, as Nuke continues to put those crystallizers in advantageous positions. He's got a little bit of practice on the bird.
I mean, we're seeing, again, one of the reasons why I just kind of don't like Nocturne right now. Like, it's so hard for G2 to really engage into this comp, and obviously they're on the back foot right now contesting against the Baron, but I think that last fight demonstrated that once that initial pick has been found, like, you're out of juice. Like, you just kind of run out unless BrokenBlade finds this crazy flank into flash, into ulti. It's very difficult for G2 to play, and the fact that Caps got caught, he got caught over a wall, which against most matchups you're thinking, hey, that's fine, but that's why Anivia is considered so good into Rise, because of how difficult she can make it for the Rise to play. So I do love the approach that Shifters had coming into this draft, and part of the reason as to why this Ezreal Karma is so feared around the world.
It's a solid draft overall. Ezreal Karma got themselves a little bit of a lead down towards the bottom side in the laning phase, but I have to give credit to Boukada and Rooster being able to come back from that early kill onto Rooster and then get the Akali in a position where really no one can match him effectively in a side lane. Right now he's in mid while the rest of Shifters are down with their final couple of minion waves on this push. 20 seconds left on the Baron buff. They're looking to try and take down another tier 2 out of it. Would leave the inhibitor towers up after the Baron does expire. Realm Warp a possibility here for Caps as he could try and get BB behind, especially since he's going into Mega, but now that BrokenBlade's about to show in the mid lane, it becomes a lot harder for him to actually find that flank. He's waiting on the Mega Blast Cone, he takes it back to mid.
I was just thinking to myself, does Rocket Belt really make sense as a third item? And then Nuke Rocket Belts into walls. Okay, well that is tech that I've never seen before, but I do still think that maybe a Zhonya's would have made a little bit more sense.
Hey, everyone likes Rocket Belt, Betty, okay? You can dodge away from an Aqua Prism.
Right.
You can dodge away from a Tidal Wave.
Yeah.
If a cannon is coming from you from Cannon Barrage, sorry, the Missile Barrage, the Corki ult.
Yeah.
Just dodge away from it, dude.
You could Rocket Belt away from a Nocturne Q.
It's so versatile.
Oh, well, speaking of versatile, Boukada coming in from over the wall.
Cease and desist onto Hans Summer. The rest of the team not really there as Caps begins to open up. The dive onto the backline from SkewMond's going to take out Trymbi, and now Boukada is put into the Guardian Angel. True Shot Barrage out. Nuke flashing away from BrokenBlade. Rooster now going to join the fray. Immediately stunned. There's the Aqua Prism. If only he had a Rocket Belt, he could have dodged it. Realm Warp in for the chase as Shifters overstep in the mid lane and G2 punish them. G2 will find 3 off the play, and just like that, the fortunes turn in their favor.
How does this happen for Shifters? You are in such an amazing game state. The dragon is spawning. and you just full send it into mid without seeing any of the coordination that we've been seeing from them in this game. Look at Boukada's engage. Sure, the idea is good, but your Akali isn't here. Like, how is this trio going to follow up on this deep of a dive? Caps becomes the target on the other side, but he chunks out Trymbi. And then now Nocturne is 1v3 on the back line. They're all terrified of him when I really don't think they need to be, but they're having to deal with this single member. Then the Akali arrives. Akali gets soloed because the rest of the team can't really offer any support. And then Paduck is isolated. Like the coordination that we saw in the previous Dragon fight, in contrast to this fight, was night and day.
It was odd. And
I mean,
Striker's reaction says it all. Yeah, because it was good till that moment. And that's kind of been the story of Shifters split, right? You're up a few thousand going into the 20-25 minute mark, and then you take a fight and you just lose it. Actualizer completed on Caps. Didn't see if he had it before that last fight.
And it's one of those things as well where, like, G2, as much as they slump, as much as they make mistakes, like, you can't just assume that it's a free win once you've got a lead, right? They've got smart players that are very aware. But I see, oh, SkewMond.
Boukada looking for the season assist onto Hans Summer. Paranoia means that he's out of range, and with a tidal wave there for the follow-up, the damage is not going to be enough. SkewMond traded back as Rooster dives the backline, but now he's on the wrong side of 4 members of G2. A stopwatch. Man, he wishes he could stop, rewind, and take that play back as he goes down. 2 kills over to G2. Shifters do have good defense. Glacial Storm will hold the line for now. Baron up in 7 seconds though. BrokenBlade dives over the Crystallize into another Glacial Storm. Paduck trying to hit the Arcane Shift, the Mystic shots in fact, but can't land them.
Well, I feel like G2's wasting a lot of time trying to stay in mid.
They don't have a jungler.
But
so
like, bot wave needs to be caught right now. Like, they're better off just pushing out the waves, resetting, going to catch. Like, Shifters is completely fine stalling them here, because the longer they keep G2 here, the longer the deaths aren't punished.
True.
It ends up just being 2 kills for G2, which isn't that end of the world for Shifters. But a very heavy commitment here as Shifters, they think they found Hans Summer. The re-engage comes through from G2. The fear does connect. The follow-up is good. The Realm Warp is forced to be used by Caps so that he can quickly rejoin his team. But again, I find that Shifters are in a position where they just don't quite have the numbers. It's a fight where they think that they have an advantage, but the Realm Warp keeps creating that difference.
It's entirely without Nuke as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean,
yeah. It's just walking down from the top lane. Rooster comes in very late, and yes, he did do a good job killing SkewMond, right? Getting rid of the enemy jungler in that position is solid.
The Baron, for sure.
Stops the Baron, but like he just dies for it because Shifters are tickling the rest of G2.
But this is what I mean by the Realm Warp being such the biggest difference,
you're
right?
right?
And so they try and force these fights in mid, and they don't respect Caps' ability to quickly collapse. And it ends up being these numbers advantage. Now G2 have the gold lead, which is very frustrating for Shifters, because like, you're in such a good spot. I feel like you have such a good comp. It's so difficult for G2 to find these engages, and you just make it easy for them, as Nuke might now be targeted.
In. The rest of Shifters are here.
Whoa.
The jump across the wall with the blast cone. BrokenBlade going to get caught out by Rooster, who needs to get out of dodge, but SkewMond now is the one behind enemy lines, and with the chase coming out from Shifters, this is the enemy jungler. They'll catch him in the GA. Caps is still pushing mid, does have the Realm Warp, but they're not going to join their good friend Skew, who's skewered by Rooster and picks up his 5th kill of the game. G2, though, will punish the fact that Shifters sent a lot of players up towards the top side by taking down the tier 2 in mid.
Well, G2, I think, went way too deep on that play. SkewMond thought that he'd caught the Anivia out, but the Blast Cone, I think, was a big difference maker. The calm was probably Anivia for no flash, let's get that kill. But then Nuke was able to create enough space between SkewMond and BrokenBlade that he could then get the Blast Cone to safety, converting it into a pick. I thought Shifters would consider a Baron, but I guess they're a little bit afraid to start it with so many members of G2 still alive. They will end up losing that tower, as you highlighted. The game sort of resets to this neutral spot. It's likely that we're going to be playing for Soul soon. We'll look back at this again, and it's a very deep commitment, as we were talking about. SkewMond saying, hey, no flash on the Anivia, but the Anivia is able to get away to safety. Good wall placement as well. And then Rooster arrives to threaten BrokenBlade and get him away from the fight.
I actually think part of it as well is BrokenBlade stopped Nuke's reset with the boomerang.
Yeah.
So they probably assumed the rest of the Shifters were resetting at the same time.
Also possibly.
So it's a, hey, we've just got Nuke out by himself, everyone else is back in base. Didn't expect there to be 4 players there immediately.
I honestly think the Blast Cone is what caused.
I mean, the Blast Cone definitely caused the death, right? But it's maybe, like, do you need to paranoia immediately onto Nuke in that situation, right?
Interrupting the back, I think, was a win in and of itself, right?
Agreed. But
we're
G2,
back to
as you
mid
say,
lane.
with a 1.5k gold lead. Mid lane will be where we play for the next while, Betty, because there's a Chem Soul available to G2 in 20 seconds, and there's a Baron up.
Well, G2 actually don't have to engage with the Dragon at all. They could threaten the Baron. The question is, can they two-man it? It looks like they're thinking about it. I see the Nocturne, I see the Rise on the minimap.
All right, it's a 4-item Rise, right? It's Caps' Rise
Yeah,
as well.
they're doing this.
That's going down pretty sharpish.
I mean,
Control Ward down there as well as Hans Sommer caught out a little bit. Nuke Hex, rocket belting forward. I made a new item there for a second. Paranoia out, and yeah, you can't collapse anymore. There's Shifters, a good Baron take by G2. Shifters, though, will turn their attentions towards the Drake. Realm warping to top lane. It's going to be a tier 2. We'll see if it's any more than that.
They don't care about the Dragon at all, and this is putting a lot of pressure on the Shifters. They're constantly having to react, and like, again, say what you will about G2, they have great map awareness. They know how to punish, and they know how to take advantage of Shifters having to make quick decisions in this situation, and they're running the Rift right now. They get themselves under the tower. They're putting pressure onto top. The wave clear with Anivia will finally arrive. The Dragon is secured, but I think G2's happy with the Baron and the top tier 2.
Yeah, they'll take that trade, right? They're now 3,000 gold ahead. Caps at 4 items, Hans Sommer at 5, plus his boots. SkewMond's GA is half the way back off cooldown. And even BrokenBlade, who was massively behind in this game, is within 400 gold, again, of this Akali, right? So the threat on a side lane of the Akali is not fully nullified, but it's much less scary than it was.
And the thing is, regardless of the comp, right, even if I think Shifters have a stronger comp and it's hard for G2 to play into, they're not even beating them through team fighting anymore. They're just playing better macro. And, you know, back in the day, back when we were young, 2017, it used to be said that the cleanest and highest level of League is one where you win without killing your opponents, right?
True. That's what the LCK used to do.
Yeah, it was just that macro masterclass.
But now, whatever G2 does is the second cleanest and second highest level of League, because they beat Gen G and they beat BFX,
That's true,
you know?
that's true, that's true. Well, for viewers at home, we're going to ride that until it's dead. Like, just to be super clear.
Look, man, we wrote 2019
it's been
for
7 years, okay? We're going to ride that until it's dead, okay? And you might think it's dead. Oh, you don't know.
It's never dead.
Okay, you don't know.
What is dead shall never die, Betty. Rise and rise again. And Caps' Rise doing a good job.
Beautiful transition. Very clean.
Thank you. I do still worry a little bit for G2 on a Siege. They do have Baron buff for the next minute, but Siege is hard into an Anivia because if you ever overstep, Crystallized happens. And they also don't have the longest range.
Ooh,
like
Hans poke, though.
Yeah, Corky's poke is good, but his auto attacks aren't that long.
That's true.
Nor rises, nor BrokenBlades. There's SkewMond, Shroud of Darkness, Realm Warp coming out, Paranoia being used as well with the TP coming in. G2 read this like a book, but not one of those complicated ones. It was like a kindergarten book. SkewMond sat in the mid lane, and all that happened immediately was an easy kill for G2. I couldn't think of a quick rhyme there, Betty. SkewMond sat in the mid lane. Shifters took the...
Shifters experience a ton of pain.
Nice, good one, Betty. That's why you're the poet. I'm not. That's why you write the rap battles.
You can stop now. You can stop digging the shovel. It's all good. I'll take over from here.
Digging the shovel? That's a mistake.
Another inhibitor is going to fly. I think G2's looking to end the game right now. They have the numbers advantage. 3 inhibitors down. They just need a couple more waves with the Baron. They should be looking to close this one out.
Yeah, it should be pretty easy from here. Hans Sommer just stepping up with those Sheen procs from the Triforce. Shifter's going to try and defend, but they don't have a huge amount of engage when their jungler is dead. It's all kind of on the buy as Rooster goes in, does dive onto Labrov. A minion eats the shuriken and Labrov will survive through it. Meanwhile, towards the top side, Caps has a souse. Labrov takes the kill. The Nexus towers fall and Shifters once again experience a mid-game collapse. It is synonymous with them these days. The Shifters try to defend. SkewMond has a GA. BrokenBlade has enough health to take down the Nexus. G2 clean it out. A clean 13 to 13, 38-minute game there from G2.
Yeah, I mean, that mid lane throw was terrible from Shifters. Such a huge mistake after being in such a fantastic position. What a blunder. G2 bounce back and they dominate. You've had enough from us, so let's jump to a quick break. We'll be back with more action after this.
Brother, let me try.
Wait, brother. Let us break this instead, brother.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
What is this, brother?
Perfection.
A new champion. Welcome to my shop. You'll need the right build. Choose wisely, because every upgrade brings you closer to the next level. So tell me, how will you level up?